With its theme of strategies for inclusive digital transformation, the 2021 M-Enabling Summit highlighted the major shifts in business, government, and education driven by the pandemic that will affect anyone involved in inclusion, accessibility, services to persons with disabilities, or compliance matters. A rich sharing of experience and interaction sparked dialogue through panel discussions, instant polls, brainstorming, and live debates among advocacy leaders, business executives, and technology providers, offering insights on how to best meet the imperative to ensure that persons with disabilities have full access to critical digital contents and services.
This will also be a different meeting with more dialogue, sharing of opinion, and informal networking opportunities and social events. After 2 years of watching screens, authentic human interaction is back.
Technology has genuinely been probably the biggest transformation I've had in my life as a person who's been paralyzed for over 34 years. And thanks to innovative technologies that are available, I'm now able to stand It's surreal to be here. Like I said, it's an extreme honor.
I think that cultural comfort with being able to talk about disability has to start at the top, regardless of the size of the company or what they do. It has to start with the leadership, so that any activity or any technology that the company needs to invest in, that the budget's there and the encouragement's there, and then kind of the internal communications campaign, for lack of a better term, that's there too.
We have a lot of communication around this issue, and we have had some listening sessions with deafblind members of our community to get the sense for what they've experienced during the COVID pandemic and what that looks like. We've seen some positive benefits when the COVID came up, that there was changes that helped them, but also things that made it worse.
What was new for this executive order is the extent to which it really centered the employment and inclusion of people with disabilities. Just the fact that it's called the DEIA, and that A for accessibility was included is a demonstration of how fierce the commitment is, all the way from the top, from the White House, across the government, to advancing accessible technology.
We've come too far as an organization, first and foremost, fighting against creating separate spaces for us to exist. You all remember the days when there was a website and accessible website. No, we're not going backwards. We're not going to do that. So in developing this, we have to make sure that whatever is created in a mainstream environment that doesn't separate us off to end up eventually getting secondhand support, secondhand participation, and secondhand access to information.
The Valuable 500 is all about CEOs and all about leadership. Extraordinarily, in 2.5 years, we built the biggest CEO coalition in the world after UN Global Compact, which is no bad feat because UN Global Compact is 14,000 and the Valuable 500 is 500. And those 500 companies represent 20 million employees, 13 trillion in revenue, the power of all of their supply chains, which is something we're going to be speaking to today.
I grew up in Dubai as a blind kid who never had any exposure to accessibility. Did not know anyone with a disability, did not know what accessibility could look like. I didn't even know what a blind person could do to be successful. The only way I got through school from K through 12 is because my mom read every single textbook of mine. That was the only accommodation I had, was my mother reading all of my textbooks. So going from that in Dubai in those years, having zero exposure to accessibility, having zero exposure to what accessibility do for people with disabilities and what could someone with a disability, what could a blind person do to come to the US for a college, higher education, and then suddenly get exposed to all the avenues for accessibility, the laws that we have in place. It was a huge change in my life circumstance where I suddenly have access to information and do things independently that I never thought I could do.